Hey you guys, this is Psycho Power Angel, or just Psycho the Disciple. Whatever you're up, it's Psycho. Now here we go. Today we're going to be covering Titus. It will be chapter 1 of Titus, so let's get this thing going. I find it interesting to note that Paul, first of all, refers to himself as Paul. I don't really know why he does that. But if someone would like to explain why he does it, that'd be way cool. But what I really want to talk about is the fact that he says a bondservant of God. Everywhere else, Paul has referred to himself as a bondservant of Christ. So this clearly states, it's simply in the Bible, that Christ and God are one and the same. So in 1:4, it clearly states that Titus, just like Timothy, was converted to the church via Paul. That's just something that we should keep in our minds as we're reading through this Bible. In 1:7, Paul says to Titus what it would take to be an overseer, or more than likely somebody who would start organizing churches over in Crete. I hope it's called Crete. So what I took from this is the things that were mentioned were to be above reproach, to not be self-willed, but in other words, to follow God and what He has planned for you. Not quick-tempered, not addicted to wine, not pugnacious, and not fond of sordid gain. Did a quick search of sordid, and it essentially means dirty, or I guess in this word would be to gain by being deceitful or by greed, things of that nature. So, in other words, this is very important for things like megachurches to watch out for. And for you yourself. Don't ever be, I think I did talk about this just a little bit ago, don't ever do things for God if it isn't in the right place, you know what I'm saying? Because then it isn't for God in the first place. What I mean by this is a very over-exaggerated, but don't go out punching people saying it's for God. Don't go out saying God hates gays and things of that nature. That's not what God wants you to do, and that's not how you're supposed to start a church either. And I only assume that addicted to wine can be just pushed onto everything. You can't develop the proper church if your mindset is more on things like addictions to alcohol, addictions to video games, addictions to drugs, addictions to pornography, anything of that nature. If you want to strengthen the church, you have to expel these things. It's just plain and simple. It's written in the Bible. So if we want to see Lakeview grow, us ourselves have to become stronger. Us ourselves have to expel those evils that we have. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. In 1:9, it's very evident that we should be training in our Bibles, training in our word, training in our knowledge, so that we can fight the evil one. And it says right in 9 that we need to know this stuff, which I'm really happy that I'm starting to get into this whole Bible. Like, I didn't really read the Bible until recently, and really happy this is starting. This is probably the biggest thing that I noticed in this chapter, and I'm really excited about it. So from 10 to 12, just essentially talks about how the Cretans are always regarded as evil, are always regarded as terrible liars of men and stuff of that nature. It definitely goes ahead to show you that you need to reach out to those people. It's important for us to care for those who aren't looked to be cared for. They're trying to start churches in a place that shouldn't have churches. When they did teach religion, they would do it with sordid gain. All in all, what I'm trying to get at here is they're trying to reach out to the weak. They're trying to reach out to the ones who need it the most. This is how we should be tackling things. We should be looking for those people who are weak, not just pushing them aside or making jokes of it in that matter. I can't tell you how many times I've missed out on opportunities to evangelize to atheists or other religions on just everything because I blow off Christianity like it's a side project. It's time. It's right now that Christianity should be the main focus of our lives. No longer am I just going to be joking around and being like, oh God, I'm not going to push it on you. You know what I mean? Like, we should be pushing God. We just need to learn the way to push God, and I know that that's in the Bible. I think the biggest reason Christians get the rap that they get is because none of us read the Bible. Like, let's be honest, many of us don't read the Bible every day. I think one of the biggest reasons why Christianity gets its rap that it gets is because none of us really know how to talk about the Bible. Because none of us have read the instructions that the Bible has taught us. You see what I mean? You can't talk about something that you don't even know anything about. And there's clearly direction in the Bible. That's why it's really so important to read it. I never really thought it was. I knew the gospel. I thought that's all I needed to know. But it's not just that. Otherwise, you're just going to be talking the ear off and you'll never get to them. God speaks through the Bible. God will tell you how to talk to people through the Bible. And in 1:16, I didn't even get to there yet, and it's already talking to me about it. It reads, "They profess to know God, but by their deeds they deny him, being detestable and disobedient and worthless for their good deeds." That right there is essentially what I was just talking about. Essentially, we say that we're Christians, and we know God, but we never really fully act upon what we know. I know that we're sinful, but we don't even attempt to try to do better. There's so many of us where we just sit there and we just lollygag around and act like nothing is wrong. Like we're not doing anything wrong. And then that reflects on every other standpoint. But us as Christians, we sit there and we don't try to improve ourselves. We just, since our religion says we don't need to do anything to get saved, let's not do anything. It's not even true. We've been called to do God's work, and so many of us don't. So I challenge you to work on that. Work on furthering God's kingdom. Work on yourself. Probably the best way to start this is to work on yourself, and from there, work for God's kingdom. Seems pretty simple to me. Anyways, you guys, that is Titus chapter 1. I will be putting out Titus chapter 2 tomorrow, and we'll be going through Titus and Philemon. See, look, I'm such a noob Christian because clearly I don't even know how to pronounce every book in the Bible, but we're going to be doing that too this week. It's going to be way bomb. I hope you stop by to check it out. It's going to be a good time. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. God bless.